Hey everyone, this is Zeffy. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Zeffy. You know who it is, alright? And it's time for another bi-weekly Kingdom Hearts card review. I haven't done a bi-weekly in a while, so we actually are only on week 17 for the bi-weekly card review. Really what sparked my interest to do one today especially was seeing the new card of the day from the Fantasy Flight game website, and basically what they have is Alice, which is a level 0 friend card, 0 support value, no magic value whatsoever. But the effect reads, each player must choose and discard a friend card in his/her friend area during his/her discard phase. This card is going to change the game dramatically, and you may not realize it now, but this is going to impact the game greatly. What is crazy about this card, or so substantial about it, I should say, is that it's going to control the tempo of the game. It's also going to control the metagame. This is a metagame changing card. So is Phil. This is going to draw people into a different line of thinking when they go to deck build, when they are trying to play competitively, when they're trying to deal with different other builds, when they look at their cards. This is going to make them think twice. And so, you know, cards like that, like Alice, Phil, even Sebastian to a certain extent, are going to change the way you think when you go to deck build, because you're probably going to include some of these cards in your deck or decks, as well as think, well, what if my opponent has them or is utilizing them? How do I deal with them? What's the best method? A card like Alice is consistent control on the board every single turn. Now it goes both ways for each player, but we know that we have fodder like the mayor or, you know, level 0 friends that may have an effect, and then once they're used, they're kind of just there, and then if someone plays a Simba, we always would throw them away, or, you know, kind of have that, instead of something more important, like a better, you know, a higher level friend, to something more strategic on the board. So with Alice, if you build your deck correctly with your friend build, you will have fodder to get rid of with it. However, what you're looking for is to have better control of your opponent's board than your own, so that if you lock them down with friends, and let's say they only have 1 or 2 on the board, then they're going to realize that Alice is going to make them eliminate one, and either they use that friend that turn in a challenge or to get rid of Heartless, or they let it die off, and that's going to be really painful to deal with, and going to make them realize that if you sit there and clear their board with a Simba or a Gravity spell, and they're down to like 1 or 2 friends and none, and then they draw, and then you have 3 ducks out, and they're drawing into 3 cards, and they get like 1 or 2 friends, they're going to end up losing one of those friends with Alice on the board unless they get rid of it. And even if they draw a card to get rid of your Alice, they're still not going to have many other options to do much else with anyways. So they're going to be struggling to deal with Alice as it controls the board. And if they have Alice out and you have Alice out, well, that's going to be even more interesting. Now, of course, you can get rid of Alice if you really want to, and it depends on, you know, what's more strategic for you at that time. But it's definitely going to affect the board greatly, and it's definitely going to increase and push this game towards some kind of metagame standard. And you're going to see that happen with set 3 and any other subsequent sets that follow, because this game really is kind of like, it's just taking off. It's new. We all know that. We're getting, now with this new set, we're also getting the Dark Deck archetype. I mean, it's going to expand a lot, but what you got to realize is that every card game does this, and in some ways it's unfortunate, and in some ways it's good. The unfortunate side is that everyone is either going to be forced to play a certain, you know, deck type to be in the top tier playability category and to be successful with tournaments and versus other players that are very good at the game, or B, they're going to play whatever they want, but they're not going to get very far, and they're not going to be able to stand up to the competitive level that other players are playing on. which is nothing wrong with it. It's just that it will eliminate some of the uniqueness out of the game. But what it does do on the positive end is it does create structure for the game. It does help struggling players to understand what the top strategies are, and even though they may be quote unquote net decking more often than not, at least they're getting a grasp for what the competitive strategy is and how to play that. And hopefully out of that you do actually still get some uniqueness in that players will actually create variants of that top metagame deck and be successful with that, and try alternate strategies that still maximize like what the top metagame cards are. It's just that they try different alternatives to the current standard. And that's what you really hope for. And of course, eventually other archetypes will hopefully come about. If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, a few years ago you were looking at, everybody playing Metamorphosis and doing the whole fusion thing. That kind of died out. And then everybody kind of jumped over into the whole like Graceful Charity, Potted Greed, playing Tomatoes, playing Monarchs, playing Cyber Dragons, controlling the board. Then that kind of went away, and now it's all about, basically like, then it went into like, PC, Perfect Circle deck types, and now it's kind of like over into Glad Beast now and all that whole thing, and Contact Fusions. So I mean, the game has really evolved and changed, but there has always been some kind of steady metagame. So you're going to see that more and more in Kingdom Hearts. And in the early stages, while the game is still pretty simple, I mean, we're getting a lot in the third set. We're getting a lot more newer like deck card types that we didn't see before. We have equipment cards coming out. We have the Dark Player card coming out. So you're going to see, some more card types that we didn't have before. But the game is still very young. It's only 3 sets. It's not a lot of cards to deal with. It's going to be pretty simplified and straightforward to really come up with the basic strategy for the current metagame, or not the current metagame, but what will be the current metagame and the top tier deck type. And if you're not running the dark deck archetype, it really eliminates a lot of confusion. The only thing that you have to consider is what is the most powerful cards in the game, and it's going to be a light deck, and it may variant. People may have variants of that, but their top deck type, from what I can see in my perspective, is going to be some kind of control deck that is not World Rush and not a balanced deck or Jack of all trades, as some people put it. It's going to be some kind of aggro control deck. It will probably they may give a different term to it with these new cards coming out, but it will be some form of that control, and it may utilize various cards like Simba and Stopra and the Ducks, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Donald Duck, and Merlin could also play a role as something as a counter spell. Basically, we also have Merlin, which is fantastic. I did a review on him a few weeks ago, but that's something to just look at. Be mindful, be aware. Kingdom Hearts is going to change greatly, and it's not singly because of the dark deck type. It's actually because of what's coming out for the light deck to support it better. That's actually going to change this game in a better dynamic than the dark archetype. The dark archetype is going to be interesting, but it's not going to be top tier. I can guarantee that right now. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I'll see you later.